We're back with album review.
What up, dude?
Sir,
So what have you got for us today, Chet?
we got Is This It by The Strokes, 2001. It's their debut album.
Ah, yes. You have any context you'd like to give behind these guys?
Not really. I think I knew the one song off this album last night, and I knew Reptilia from Rock Band.
Oh, hell yeah. Classic.
And both the songs that I knew were amazing to me, so I one day just decided to listen to all of their stuff because most of their albums are about this length. Like, this is 35 minutes long.
Yeah,
Pretty easy
fairly
listen.
short.
But I ended up really liking The Strokes and listened to all of their stuff. But this album, I think it's one of their best albums for sure.
Yeah. You saw them live, too.
I did see them live at Citizens Bank Park. It was, they played before Red Hot Chili Peppers. And it was good, but the lead singer, Julian Casablancas, was really drunk during that concert. And they performed some of their like newer songs, and he was not remembering some of the lyrics, so he was just dancing around. And, like, it was funny because everyone knew he was drunk.
Yeah,
you could tell.
And we did do that album on album review. I think it was just you and I on that episode.
Yeah, we did.
So
That's another. Their most recent album, The New Abnormal, is a very good album, but it's very different from this album.
Yeah.
Oh shit, they're a 5-piece.
Yeah, five guys. Yeah.
5 guys.
Julian Casablancas. This is the first band that he was in, but he also has a band called The Voids that he's currently working with both these bands. So
Gotcha.
Yeah. We also did a Voids album too on an
we did
episode.
the Voids album.
And I enjoyed that album a lot.
And I only found The Voids through listening to The Strokes. So this is like what really got me into them. This album.
Wait, they had a fucking guru?
What was that?
They had a fucking guru
I guess so. I didn't know that.
channeling their inner chakra to make this music.
Alright, but we got 11 tracks.
Yeah.
And
What's the first one?
first track is the title track, Is This It?
I really like this one.
It's a very good song.
It's a nice mellow one compared to like most of the album.
Yeah. They all, most of them, they kind of maintain the same pace throughout the whole song, and then...
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, this song's definitely a slower sounding one, but it's interesting the way that he's singing over the beat. It's, like, very monotone, and, like, his voice has a filter on it that sounds kind of interesting. But for a lot of the songs he does.
Yeah. That seems to be like a theme with like his style of music.
Yeah. The next track is The Modern Age.
I also liked this one too.
This one is good.
Yeah, for sure.
It's got that quick, jumpy guitar sound that, like, pretty much is in a lot of their music. So
It sounds very digital.
yeah.
Like modeling amp from like the 2000s where like they just bought the cheapest thing that they could afford for the set and just played it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect it in a negative way.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know,
a very
so
like indie
unique.
sound.
Very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is kind of them defining their sound. This is them defining themselves. The second track on their first album.
Yeah.
So it really set the tone for what's coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that on the chorus of the song, it like sounded bigger. Like it sounded kind of like, I don't know, not underwhelming on the verse, but like it wasn't that much energy, not too much going on. Then they really just kicked it up on the chorus.
Yeah.
Made it feel, you felt that it was the important part.
Mm-hmm.
The next track is Soma.
This is probably my favorite off the album. I really love this track.
This one's good. I actually looked it up because I didn't know what Soma was. I knew it sounded familiar. It's the brand name of a drug. I think it's like Carisoprodol or something. It's a muscle relaxer.
Oh.
So
really?
I think it kind of, the song was kind of talking about like how people take drugs to become numb from like the hard things that go on in their life.
Yeah.
A lot of the tones in most of these songs is pretty like negative. Like
Yeah.
it talks about like a lot of the things that people are just paranoid about. Like it's
Gotcha.
pretty relatable sometimes, but if you're just listening to the music, you wouldn't even really realize that they were talking about like some darker stuff.
It's all about the tone of it because, like we've said this before, like Hey Ya, for example, it's a song that it's not a happy song, but it's super upbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good song though overall, definitely.
Yeah, definitely my favorite.
Barely Legal.
This one's decent.
I like this one. More quick guitars.
This is very like a poppy kind of track.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I would definitely would think would be on the radio.
Yeah.
Especially was it? Last Night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Last Night coming up.
Which is the big
Sure,
hit, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Barely Legal, I remember had like at the end of each of his vocal lines, it would have like a little guitar like accent input at the end.
Right.
It was a cool sound.
Normally when they do that, it's to fill in space. Where like if there's like a break, you don't want to have it like dulling the song where there's like silence.
Yeah.
So like a lead player will just fill in with whatever they think would be appropriate for it.
Right.
Which is cool. That's pretty neat, creatively speaking.
Mm-hmm. Someday is a good song.
I really like this one a lot too.
This was another one that I think sounded familiar. Like when I first listened to this album, I was like, maybe I have heard this song before.
There's definitely songs on here that sounded familiar to me, like the big hit, which again we'll get to soon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked that song a lot.
Alone Together.
I like this one
The
too.
song was cool.
This is a very cool one.
That's like really cryptic lyrics. Like it's hard to understand what he's even talking about sometimes because he gives you like very small pieces, details of a story.
Right.
You just kind of have to figure it out in your own.
That seems to be a theme with the Strokes too, because we mentioned that a lot on their newest album.
Especially the Voids as well. Like, they go even more into
the
that.
Voids is like it's like
Very
the Jalen
cryptic,
Hurts of
like-
music. So like,
understanding it, just look up what it means.
yeah.
Last Night though was the next track.
Great song.
This was the one song that I did know by them before looking at their stuff, and it's a very good song.
Yeah.
Classic.
For sure.
I did dig it a lot. This was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Sounds basic for it being
Sounds
like
basic, yeah.
No, for me it sounds basic to say this is my favorite song.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really catchy and fun.
It's a very good one. It
Yeah.
sounds like really happy, but he's
Oh, yeah.
actually talking about like
What was it, a one night
leaving
stand?
a girl basically. Like
Oh shit.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Not one night stand, but like I don't know.
Just like leaving her behind.
Yeah.
I kind of got that vibe from it.
Oh, like a bad breakup or something.
I guess I could see that.
Kind of thing.
I got you.
Hard to explain.
I liked this one
I
too.
think this one might be my favorite song on the album. Actually, it's
It's
good.
up there for me. Probably like top 4 or 5
I really liked
tracks.
The guitar riffs on this one are cool. Like he's got like long pauses between like the vocal lines, and the guitar riffs that fill that space are really cool. When it started, this song I actually didn't even like know or didn't remember until I was listening to it for the album review.
I liked this one a lot though.
I did like it. I'll have to listen to it more definitely to get the story behind it, but it was a good sound.
Yeah, the whole album has like a really consistent sound, which I feel like we've said before with them. Also, like going into that too.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of their music, it's kind of just them. Like it's more about like the groove almost than the singing sound.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's not that many like lyrics in their songs. There's a lot of space that's just filled with the groove of each song. You know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Track 10 is Trying Your Luck. This is another really good one.
I like this one too. Every song on here I pretty much like. I'll say that right off the bat.
Yeah. But it's more, it's got like a good sound, but it's more like, I think he was talking about like how, like, love can feel hopeless, like each relationship like fails, and when you're starting a new one, you know it's bound to end, and you have like a bad view of it.
Yeah.
Like it's relatable for a lot of people. Last track is Take It or Leave It, which I really like this one.
Yeah,
It's really good.
it's a really good track to end it off with.
It's one of the more aggressive songs on the album. He's got like the yelling part at the end of the song. It's really good though.
Yeah. Overall, I'd say it's a very good album, and
Very
probably
good
the best album I've listened to by them so far.
Yeah, I've listened to their whole discography, and it's definitely one of the top ones in my opinion.
Yeah, and like this album's been recommended to me not just by you, but like this album has been said to be like one of the best albums of the 2000s. So I've been wanting to check this one out for a while, and I'm glad we finally got to listen to it.
Me too. I've been waiting to nominate them for a long time. It's good.
Final thoughts, Luke?
I dug it. I thought this is one of the first like super chill albums we've done in a long while, where it's like this is a good listen, whether it be background or if you're like listening for the intent of the music. Last Night and Take It or Leave It, I think, are like the ones that I would listen to the most off this album.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd probably say Last Night, Soma, Take It As You Leave It.
yeah.
And there's another one here that like was really friggin'. The title track is also
First
one of my
track's good.
personal favorites.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of fun. I just remember like the fun bass line on that song every time I like think about it.
It's the part that like encapsulates me the most when listening to it.
Yeah.
And just like the flow of the lyrics too during the chorus, and it just all sounds incredible throughout the entire album.
Yeah, and this album didn't really have like a progression to it. Like there wasn't really a story. It's kind of just him talking about different like mental problems that he deals with.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Which not every album needs to be a concept album, and
it's kind of the tone of a lot of their music. Like it's most of it has a more depressing tone. Like they don't have very many happy songs if you look at the lyrics.
Yeah.
But I like their sound a lot.
Oh, for sure. It does have something to it that's like a little melancholic,
Mm-hmm.
but it does bring in a vibe that's atmospheric in a way somebody's gonna be like, oh shit, this is fucking super close to home.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Definitely
It's
appreciate
relatable
that.
stuff if you listen. But
So,
yeah,
shall we go to scores?
I guess so.
What have you got for it?
I'm gonna give it. Oh gosh. I mean, I nominated the album, so don't judge. I'm giving it a 9.5.
Ooh.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
I really like it. I picked it for a reason.
Why is it not a 10?
I just never given it 10. I guess that's really all.
Okay, fair enough.
If there was ever gonna be one, honestly, this would make sense. I don't know why I'm not giving it a 10, but I'll just give it a 9.5 because I guess it could be like a 10. I feel like has to have a lot of different elements. Like it's got to have a great story to it. It's got to have like I don't know. This is more of like it's not a concept album, so I guess it's harder for me to.
I get what you're
Give it a
saying.
10. I don't
Okay.
know. But
I mean,
it's the best for
Yeah,
me. I
everyone's
love this
metric is
album.
different, but I understand where you're coming from.
I've
with
just
that.
never even given one on any of the album reviews now that I'm thinking about
Yeah,
it. but-
I've given very few, but I'm probably gonna give this
should
one.
I? Since I never
It's,
had.
it's
That's the
your
only
rating.
reason.
I'm not trying to influence you in
No,
one
I'm
way
just
or
saying
another.
that the only reason I didn't is just because I never have, which that's kind of stupid.
It's up to you, man.
I'll bump it.
Okay, all right.
Alright,
Yeah.
cool.
Valid.
I think I'm gonna give it a 9. Like, even listening to it only like once or twice, I think every track was good, and the sound was great, and I see why it's hyped up so much for sure. Well, it's not a 10 to me because I mean, like, the one track I think like Barely Legal is just like decent to me. Like, it's kind of like the weakest out of all of them, but I still think it's not bad. So I think overall 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9 as well.
Ooh.
It's pretty good. It has a lot of elements of music that I appreciate, and the production value on it is pretty nice
Yeah.
for like an early 2000s kind of hit like this, where it seems a little underground for the time. They must have had a really big following.
This is like when
when it
indie
first
started to
started.
kind of blow up in a way.
They're out of New York, so.
Oh fuck
It was
yeah!
a good-
Everywhere
good
in New
scene
York,
for them.
there's always some kind of music playing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a club that's gonna want that specifically,
Mm.
but for what they had to offer, this is a pretty solid album. It's a pretty solid take overall.
Definitely good for a debut. Like.
Oh yeah, one of the best debuts a band could have.
You
Really.
gotta come out swinging sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna change it up a tiny bit. We're gonna go classic rock with an artist that we have done before, but we're going to their 80s music instead of their 70s music.
Okay.
We're gonna do Stormfront by Billy Joel.
Okay.
This is the one with We Didn't Start the Fire on it.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
So I've had the CD for a little bit now, but I decided let's pull this one out. I've only listened to it once or twice, so I feel like we should show it off to people and see if they like it or not.
Hell yeah.
I don't think I've ever listened to it, so.